The Real Deal Show, brought to you by eBodyboarding.com and Tribe Boards. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real Deal Show podcast. I am in Australia in the town of Burleigh Heads, and with me is a guy I've known for the better part of 4 decades, maybe longer, and he is an absolute legend in the world of bodyboarding, particularly here on the Gold Coast in Queensland and Australia. This is Paul Barney Barnard. What's happening, brother?
Jay. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Geez, we haven't seen each other. It feels like it's
Great
meeting
to see
you for the
again,
first time.
It's been a couple of decades?
Probably 15 years since we've seen each other.
Yeah.
It's been a very long time, and it's great to be able to catch up and do it on camera at the same time and do something that really needed to be done. Paul Barney Barnard needs to be in a podcast because we need to hear the story of Barney. His nickname is Barney. He's not a Barney from the 80s and 90s.
There's a few Barney legends around the time.
For sure. The surfer from Santa Cruz, California. But Paul Barney Barnard, all your life you've lived here in Queensland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
When I started in the sport, you were kind of the guy up here. You were the go-to if you came to Queensland. You were the guy that knew all the spots, the tides, the winds, the swells, where to be. And I met you very early on. My first trip here was 1988, I believe. I'm not sure. We might have met around that time.
Maybe a little bit earlier, I think. Because 86, 87 was the first trip to Hawaii.
Yes, I would have met you over there probably. Yeah, so Barney's been at it for many years. But we're going to dig into the story of Paul Barney Barnard. I'm just going to call you Barney to save time instead of doing the full name.
Nah, that's cool.
But Barney, how old are you now?
Ooh.
You have to think about that?
56. No. Sometimes, you come in December, you want to be honest. So I'm coming into 57 in December,
Good stuff. I'm 61, we're recording this in the month of November 2025. Let's start out with, your upbringing here on the Gold Coast. Have you always been here from here in Burleigh, or did you grow up some other town here on the Gold Coast?
Interesting story. My dad was a mad fisherman, and I was conceived in Yamba.
Really?
I was born in Wollongbar, and then Dad got a transfer job to AGC, and they moved from here to Brisbane, but it was at Redcliffe. It was sort of like a beach, not a beachside area, but like a bayside area.
Okay.
And I went to Humpy Bomb State School, so it's a famous school. I don't know if you know about that school.
What's it called?
Humpy Bomb State School. So that's
Humpy Bomb?
Yeah, Bonk.
I was going to say, this is too good, man.
Now, this is pretty funny. A legendary group came. I went to that school too, the Bee Gees.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were from up here. I thought they were from Sydney.
No. Wow. So I think I don't know their history as a band or what they, where they moved or whatever. But Dad told me about that. So
that's
so you went to the same school as the Bee Gees? No
really, way. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and then we moved to. We were in Brisbane during the 74 floods, and then we moved to Palm Beach in about 1975.
Yep.
So pretty much I've been on the Gold Coast since 1975, and I've seen a lot of changes.
Yeah, so let's go to your, 75, bodyboarding was in its infancy.
Yeah.
So were you doing other sports as a Grom coming up before you found bodyboarding?
Pretty much, I was always like, in our area, there was a lot of people come down from Brisbane and they had holiday homes. And the people next door to us, say, had like all these old mouths and stuff. My brother, he started surfing. And like when you're a grommet, your first learning to swim was either in a pool or you just throw yourself in the ocean, and then you'd, go to the nippers and stuff like that. And I was always like just on the sidelines doing things like that and just teaching myself to swim and body surf.
Yeah.
And the first thing I started riding was a surf mat. Okay. And I used to love body surfing, and when we used to body surf, the funny thing is we didn't really have the Churchill fins, and we were using small, like diving fins, like small ones and stuff like that.
Yep.
And in the 70s, the really thick thongs were in, you know, with the colours down the side, and we used to body surf with those.
Oh my God!
Like, we were just a bunch of
like using them as hand planes.
Hand planes,
Beachcomber bills were the big
and there was
sandal
a lot of shore breaks, and they were like crystal cylinder thongs and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I kind of went from that, and I had a funny experience. I had a mal come back and nearly break my nose, and my brother was trying to get me into surfing, and he was a member of the Palm Beach Board Riders and stuff like that. And I was just, I don't know, I was always attracted to dolphins and things like this. Like Dad used to go fishing. I used to love the dolphins, used to watch them on waves and stuff like that. And probably cut it short to get into a little bit more detail, in the sense my brother took us to, we used to go to the surf movies.
Yep.
And, you know, there was all the classic old school surf movies, you know. And
we used to do that. I did that same thing.
Follow the Sun was probably the movie that really moved me. Like, I want to do that.
I still remember the song from that movie.
As much as the, you know, the surfers, and there was a big rivalry in later stages that, you know, surfers, you know, didn't like bodyboards, and it was kind of a little like snowboarding and skiers and stuff like that. There was some cool things behind that. Before that, the surfers didn't mind bodyboarders, because there wasn't a lot of us. It was just a handful of us, and it was different.
Yep.
And I think it inspired them in some ways too, because we're doing a few different things. And we had our hands. I even actually remember a couple of guys, like Tom Curran, getting interviewed. He said the interesting thing about the bodyboarders, and I was showing Daniel Crimey and stuff like that, surfing pipe and that. He said the interesting about these guys is they got their hands on the board and they're doing different stuff, and that was like, I remember like seeing him doing a rollo at pipe or off the wall or backdoor and stuff, and it's in the early stuff with Stuart. And I just wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
And I love the ocean. So that was me.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of bodyboarders, they did it back in those days, in our younger days, because they were individualists and they liked the idea of doing something different, like you just said, than all the surfers. They were kind of like the sheep. Yeah. And you wanted to kind of stand out from that and do your own thing. And it was cool back then, because you invented your own kind of maneuvers, sort of, you know? You had that option.
Well, back then too, the biggest thing then, and that's what all the surfers, it was trying to get deeper in the tube and riding the tube, and a bodyboard was just amazing for tube riding.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't realize, a lot of us back then, we're all just trying to get that really good tube. Like, bodyboarding was great for harnessing the wave, and it's sort of like an extension from body surfing, and you could drive and you could sort of lock in on the barrel and try and stay in that powerful position.
Yeah. More control in the tube.
Yeah, as surfers, they could get more drive and get down the line and do that kind of thing,
like
as a
big
bodyboard.
carving turns.
Big carving turns, and everyone's in the cutback, and there was great tube riders and stuff as well. And that's what I loved about bodyboarding, was just getting a barrel. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, just staying. I was addicted to that.
Yeah, it's so easy to get tube too, even in dumpy shore break. Like you said, you had a lot of shore break where you were. Who were some of your early peers, your friends that you used to go bodyboarding with back in those days?
We were kind of it.
Yeah.
Back then, like, you got the board and you were it, and that was it. It was like a bunch of us. There was a couple of guys around in the area.
Scattered.
Like,
kind of everybody was in
there was a
different
guy
locations.
down the road from us, and he was named Michael Pinder, and he used to get on his knees. He wasn't drop kneeing. And then my mate Leon and I used to body, and we were the first guys, and like before the Max 7s, before the black ones came out, we managed to get a hold of the Scott BZ Customs.
Oh, yeah.
And we grabbed those because that's what Mike was riding.
Right.
And we're like, if he's riding them, we're getting on those. You know? And we're sort of really influenced by Ben Severson, Pat Caldwell, JP Patterson. Yeah. You know, and then, you know, like those guys like, you know, Jack Linden.
Right.
Keith Sasaki.
Same guys I had pictures of on my wall.
All those guys. And you know, and they're all different.
Yes.
They're all different in their own way.
Yeah,
You know, as
yeah.
characters and as, you know,
The way they rode.
the way
even.
they rode.
Yeah.
The way they rode.
Because
And
you had drop knee, you had two different styles. Jack Lindholm,
Yeah.
Keith Sasaki, very different styles. Ben Severson, very different
Yeah.
than Mike Stewart. Ben
Yes.
was more about pocket riding.
Yeah.
And so good in tight little barrely
and
waves.
speed.
And, yeah.
That guy was getting so much speed.
Right.
You know, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I had the same heroes as you did back
Yeah.
in those days too, you know,
Yeah.
and then we all went to Hawaii. But let's back up to your competition
Yeah.
introduction. How did you get into competing? Did you just feel like, okay, I'm pretty
We
good at this? I want to
So
compare
Julie rode both
myself.
them. She started up a club.
Yep.
And she went to Hawaii, and the event was, you know, pipe, and
Yep.
that was when Evan. That's
I
how
met
I was
her.
introduced, and that's how I met Evan.
Yes,
Evan
I
came
stayed with
up.
those two that year. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
82, December 82. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Julie got me in, and we started the club, and I was sort of in the club, and I was doing quite well, and.
This is the Gold Coast Bodyboard Club?
Yeah, and
Yep.
it was really funny. There was a bit of a trip going on where, you know, some of the crew were putting fins, the Maury Boogie fins in the board.
I used to do
And
that.
when I read the magazine,
No,
guys
that's
ain't
it.
doing it. We're taking these. We're the first guys to take them out.
Wow.
In the club, and then everyone started taking them out.
Yep.
And some of the girls will still ride with fins in their boards, but we're just like, no, that's your fin.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The crazy thing is we all rode the same size board back then,
Yeah, yeah.
small or big.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that we actually figured out how to hold the edge on those big boards of the day
I
without
think
fins.
that's why that we were possibly putting fins in back then as well, because our 43-inch boards, and we're all just grommets.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah,
really
it's
little trying to
nuts.
ride these big boards. you
Yeah.
know, so-
Crazy, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So you started in the club, and you guys would compete against other clubs around
yeah, and then a couple of
the East Coast.
Then there was sort of like, we started meeting like Evan Penglis, and then
Yep.
there was Bullet, and there was Ross Hawke,
Mm-hmm.
and other guys came from that. The early Shark Island guys, Doug
Mm-hmm.
Robinson, and then then we'd have national titles, and then out of those national titles, we would whoever won the Australians would get a ticket to go to Hawaii to compete
Yep.
in the pipe comp, and the pipe comp back then, that was like
That was the
that was the
pinnacle.
Ducks Guards.
That was
you
the
know.
pinnacle of the
Yeah, it was
sport.
the pinnacle of the sport. We
What
won a
was what was the first year that you went to that event?
I went 80. It was 80. It was the end of '86, going to '87.
Got it. And what other Australians were there at that time?
Myself, Evan Penglis, I'd say Ross Hawke. Who else is going then?
That's like just right there is a
That one
who's who of that era
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Australian bodyboarding, and later became a rite of passage to spend a month or two on the
Yeah.
North Shore for all Australian bodyboarders. But it was guys like you that paved the way for them, and you became, I'll say, sort of a media darling at that point.
Yeah.
And it enabled you to get the first ever bodyboard sponsorship from Billabong. Is that right? Were you the first bodyboarder sponsored by that company?
One
One of the first,
one
for
of
sure.
the sort of guys. So the kind of the story behind that was, there was the American Bodyboarding magazine, and we managed to meet a lot of professional water photographers like Brian Billman, and you know, like even legends like Don King.
Yeah,
and
Jeff
all-
Hornbaker
yeah,
and
Jeff
Aaron,
Hornbaker.
Aaron Chang and all those guys.
Aaron Lloyd, Aaron
Yeah.
Chang, all those guys, and I saw all these incredible photos, and there was some pretty cool stuff bodyboarding was doing, and we weren't getting that much representation. And I could see there was a bit of a boom happening in America. Like Mike was, O'Neill and
Yeah.
all those sorts of things.
Gotcha.
And I managed to meet Peter Morrison, and early before that, there was a lovely gentleman, Mike Perry.
Mm-hmm.
And
Rest
I
in peace, Mike.
Yeah, Mike, awesome guy.
Mhm.
And he saw Greg and I's bodyboarding. This is
Greg Jarrett.
like a local thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like Greg's at home. He's at Greg will be around my place working on a splash back in my house. It's pretty funny.
Sick, I love it.
Yeah, we're still good mates.
Nice.
Yeah. And he saw us out at Palmy, and it was really heavy and thick barrels, and we were getting really good barrels, and he was just blown away. And we came in, we didn't really think much of it. And that's how I first met Mike. And then I'd already done a couple of trips to Hawaii. And I went into Morrison Media, and they were starting up. They're trying to advance not only Surfing Life magazine. And the first thing we got was a back page in Surfing Life magazine.
Yeah, a little bodyboard section.
And what we call it, and I think Mike or Peter Morrison, they call it Riptide.
Yes.
And then I was going to Hawaii, and I said, "You guys got to do a magazine." I really twisted. I remember I was only a grommet and rocking up. I was about 18 and rocking up on my push bike and taking up, talking to them about it. And I said, let's just try one issue and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I went to Hawaii. I got a whole bunch of photos because I knew all these guys.
Yeah.
I had all these photos of Aussie guys. They were going over now. There's more guys going, like PJ Highland and a whole bunch of, shredders are starting to go to Hawaii. And it was just like every year, it was like a pinnacle for bodyboarding.
Sure.
And Hawaii was high performance.
Yes, it was the mecca of bodyboarding, like it was for surfing for many years.
Yeah.
Became the same for bodyboarding, especially because that's where all the best photos were taken, the heaviest waves were ridden. So if you wanted to make a name in the sport and eventually get in Riptide magazine or Bodyboarding mag in the US, you had to be there. You had to be on the North Shore. It was like a necessity. Right, back in those days. So when you'd go over there, who would you go with? Where would you stay?
I'd stay with like Billman my first trip was really funny. We stayed on the last house at V-Land, and we had the full crazy hui guys next door, the gnarly guys.
Yes.
And the lady we were staying with was a stripper from in town.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
it was crazy. Yeah. But that was the 80s, I got plenty of great surfs.
Yes.
Amazing surfs. Like some of those seasons were amazing.
We're you at pipe pretty much any time it broke, or were you going to the sort of the out of the way spots? Because if you wanted to get photos, you had to be at off the wall and pipe.
Yeah, we'd get up really early and we'd surf pipe really early.
Before it got crowded.
And we'd surf to get away from possibly the crowds. Was in the beach breaks. I love beaches. Yeah. So we're surfing a lot of Ayukai, Pupukaya.
Right.
What was the break just down from Poops? Gas.
Yeah, gas chambers, yep.
Just down there. Like a lot of that sort of stuff. And sometimes Evan and I would go on the other side of Waimea and we'd go over to Jocko's. And those sort of places. Yeah,
sort of the B spots as it were.
And we had some crazy days. I remember one day we surfed, Evan and I out on an afternoon and building swell at Jocko's. It was about 6 to 8 foot, and Peter Crawford actually came out. He's passed away.
Oh,
Great photographer.
Yeah. Kneeboarder, right?
Kneeboarder, yeah. And he came out as kneeboard, and he goes, "You guys know what it was a building swell." And I remember getting one of the biggest barrels. I didn't come out. But it was one of the biggest barrels of my life at that age.
Wow.
So before I got my really big barrel, it was probably that place I got one of my biggest barrels. Yeah.
Jocko's.
The Jocko's.
That's crazy.
On a building swell. And when we got to the beach and we got in, I remember the whole
just closed out.
The whole bay.
All the way across the Lani Kea.
All the way from Lani across, the whole thing just closed out, and everyone was like, wow.
And then there's the outside reef, Himalayas, which when it really starts to get huge, if you can make it through that gap.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, not that I would ever ride those kind of waves, but you sort of had a hunger for the big stuff. Did you like the bigger waves, or was that not a thing for you?
No, it was like I always felt myself as it was a learning ground for me.
Yeah.
And what was good about it was we all weren't that good, but we was like, it was kind of like, you went and played tennis with a better guy.
Yeah.
So if we're going to mix with these guys that are really good, we'd always bring something back home.
Yes.
And was a building ground for our sport.
100%.
And I always thought, well, we had this guy that was like Kelly Slater, and I was like, no one's ever going to build, we all know who the guy is. Yes. And then it was like incredible, but there was a building ground. I seen it like Australians building, I saw Brazil building, Europe building,
Yeah.
And these guys are taking this home with them. This great sport. And, and we're finding all these different breaks in our own yard and in our own backyards and stuff like that. And we're getting good, everyone's getting really good, we're all, like, you'd come home that year and, like, your local break, you'd charge it a bit harder, or, like one season in Hawaii, like you go home and then your local break and it's on, you're kind of like, oh, this is not so scary anymore.
Right.
You know, you're just sort of going for it.
I survived the North Shore. This is nothing. It was the same for me, coming from the U.S. East Coast, where I had zero influences, really, because there was only a few of us doing it.
Yeah.
It was the same deal. Went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
You'd absorb everything you saw, and you'd apply it to your home waves. And just from the first year to the second year I went over there, the level of riding of everyone, not just, you know, the guys in Hawaii, but Australians, South Africans, everyone that came to that event, it was like 10 notches up because they had learned so much the first year watching, you know, Daniel Kaimi, who won that first year, and Mike Stewart and Jack Lindholm and all those guys. Yeah. It was such an important learning ground, like you said, totally backing up what you said there.
Yeah, and when I remember going to Morrison Media with all the photography shots, and they did the first magazine. Yep. Peter was arming and ahhing about it all, did the first magazine, sold out. And I never looked back after that.
Yeah, they kind of realized this is a burgeoning market.
Yeah,
we got to be in this.
And that's when the advertisers were, because it was, you know, multimedia, none of that existed then. Even mobiles weren't even around. Yeah. And that's where it all was. It was advertising, and this is where the advertising came in, and then the other brands, the surfing clothing brands came in. Yep. And they were booming as well. Yes. So it was a time where they could diversify into different sports, and even girls surfing was building and all that sort of stuff. So it was a really exciting time for, I think, in the whole surfing community. Agreed. It wasn't hard to get sponsors back then if you had any profile at all, and you had a few decent photos. It was like, hey, I'm this bodyboarder who's had a couple you're sponsored, man. We want to sponsor you. And we were young and naive, and you know, if they flicked you a couple of shirts or a few boards, you were sponsored. Was a sponsorship. That was a sponsorship. Yeah. I mean, like really, we're all working, and we'd save up our bucks to get to Hawaii, because that's what we loved. We did it. It was different. We weren't like, oh, how much money we're going to get or this or that. We were getting over there because we loved doing it, and because our sport was growing and all this sort of stuff, and was opening up. It was like a community, and then, you know, and every year, like, you'd see different things. You'd see, like, you know, I start seeing different breaks around the world and all that sort of stuff. 100%. You know, Indo and, you know. So it was, you know, that was a great time. It was the golden era of bodyboarding. Yeah. We're talking through the 80s, into the early 90s, and you were still going through all this. The magazines, we then had Australian Bodyboarder down here in Riptide, and then something changed. Something changed. The surf companies started pushing bodyboarding away. The magazines started struggling. Why do you think this happened? Do you have any theories on why that happened? I mean, there's a ton of people that chime in on this, but what's your take on it, Barney? It's kind of like a lot of the companies and stuff like that. They possibly think was, you know, it's kind of scared them when it boomed. It was booming. Yeah. And Mike came out, and I remember we did the whole tour around. I helped organise that with the coaching Tom tour. Wilson, and we did the whole coaching thing. Yes. And man, it went nuts. It did. And we went through, there's a couple of different years where the sport boomed. The whole no friends thing, then there was like the tension thing. Yes. There was, like over here anyway, there was, and then there was even Kingy, the rejected thing. Right. There was old clothing brands. Yeah. And all that sort of stuff, but all the video, and then there's the whole Stroey thing. True. Yes. And then the whole Shark Island thing. Yeah, the underground tapes and all that. Yeah. And then all WA started, and then all this next generation came through. Yes. Like, you know, the players, the Kingies, you know, right up to Dave Winchester. Hardys and Rawlins and you know, I'm missing a whole bunch of I could go on, like how there's so much talent. I know who you mean. Country, you know. And they took it to another level. Yeah. And that's when the World Tour kind of kicked in, and they enjoyed sort of the best parts of the World Tour, and when it became the IBA, I think was maybe the pinnacle of the World Tour. And that was kind of as you and I and the older guys. Too. Yeah, it was a changing of the guard. The Wines had it for years, and then, you know, like Tamiga was coming through. Right. All that. And it was so, that in itself, to be the start of that, and to see all that happen and change, that made me happy. Yeah. And the thing that I love about bodyboarding is the simplicity of it. Yes. You know, it's a fins, it's a board, it's a wave. and you're kind of just locking your back rail, your fin, and it's chew time.
Yeah.
You know, it's I just that simplicity, and it was really funny. I was talking to guys as I'm getting older, and it's just like I can still scoop, I can get in that thing, I can still ride that thing.
Right, the skills haven't left
And
you.
I thought it was going to be over for me and through the end of my 40s, and like I'm still like,
You're
I'm
still
thinking about
keen.
a trip. I'm thinking about, you know, I can still have a crack at some 6-foot stuff.
Yes.
And I'm
love
still
that.
enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still enjoying it, you know, so.
And a lot of guys from, you know, from our era are still doing it. I mean, look, Mike Stewart, of course, has set the bar impossibly high for most guys my age. I'm 61.
Even the surfers must look at that guy.
Yeah,
and just go,
that's insane.
This guy charged, like, you know, like he charged the wave not so long ago, Chopes, and he just like, 62, and I went, oh, that's gotta hurt.
That's just nuts, man. I mean, that's next level that he's still doing that. And there's a few guys, you know, of our era that are still out there, still fit, still able to kind of do what they used to do. Maybe not at the absolute pinnacle level that they were, but still at a very competent and skilled level.
Yeah.
And it's great to hear that you're still doing it. Like, let's go more to the present now. So when your pro bodyboarding days ended, you morphed into being a sales rep. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I was working, was selling moire.
Yep.
You name a brand, I sold it.
You've sold it. So
name a brand.
You were up and down the coast
selling
to everyone.
And I was the first guy to sort of improvise. Like, I seen a diversity happening in different brands, and you know, the thing like Waverable, and then it went, you know, to all these different brands in the States.
Yes.
And then we saw then the BZ, and then we saw like changes like the, you know, No Friends and all that sort of stuff, Element of P.
Yep.
So, and then, you know, the creation of other brands, there was Science, so that, you know, Mike going from moire into Science. And all that. So it was really nice being a part of that and going to surf shops and selling that. And, but then, you know, slowly but surely, the sport came its own thing, but it died in the surfing. It's like the surfing arena died.
Yeah.
But I really think at the end of the day, surfing in itself, they were having problems themselves, because when the surfing industry stopped supporting the surf shops, and they started opening their own shops, and then they really overspent, and they thought the boom was going to keep booming. Then there wasn't so much a boom after that.
Right.
There was always change, and it became very competitive and cutthroat.
Yeah,
so
totally.
that was part of the culling in bodyboarding as well.
I agree.
don't think they just were out like we hate bodyboarders.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like that. I think there was crew that hate bodyboarders, for
Sure.
But there was also, I know a lot of generation that came through that surfed with bodyboarders, or they started bodyboarding and they went to surfing. So, and there's great surfing athletes.
Yes.
You know, they started bodyboarding
For sure.
before they started surfing.
Yeah.
It became like, you know, Bongo.
Right.
You know,
Bongo
so a couple
Perkins,
of big wave riders.
Yeah.
You know, and I like Jamie O'Brien. He doesn't knock all the bodyboarders.
He's no slouch on a bodyboard. And even some of the younger guys like Blair Conklin, a guy from California, guy's epic at bodyboarding, skimming, whatever. So a lot of guys are more diverse.
Yeah.
They don't knock back one form or the other of wave riding. They try it all and excel at all of those.
Yeah.
But I agree with your assessment. You know, the industry kind of got too big for its britches.
Yeah.
Like you said, they started their own retail shops, which kind of almost was a snub.
Shops. Then they started discounting shops.
Yes, like
Discount
the
outlet
outlets.
shit.
Yeah.
And that really hurt the
It
industry.
snubs, it snubs the hardcore shops that have been supporting them for decades. And in bodyboarding, I feel like the same thing happened at the low end of bodyboards, in terms of all these companies diversified and started putting out these EPS boards super cheap, and people would just buy those that were new to the sport, and it would just took all the money away from the sport.
Yeah, and there was less margin in that, no money going into that, and I think that could have happened with the clothing. I don't know how much that was, you know, how much margins and everyone was making, and then like real estate was booming. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said, you know, some of these brands said have leased all these shops, and they knew it was coming in real estate, and bought a lot of those and owned a lot of real estate. They could have been still doing really, really well.
Yeah.
But no one knew like the boom and what's going to happen in real estate and stuff like that as well. So it's interesting.
Yeah, plus the digital age happened.
Yes.
Starting in the late 90s, and that kind of wiped out print media.
Yes.
Which was a huge part of bodyboarding, at least, with the magazines going away.
Oh, DVDs, like I was doing all the underground tapes and stuff like that with Strawy, and I used to sell, like when it come to summer, we used to sell so many, I was selling stuff for Timber Knifing as well.
Yes.
And we were selling so many DVDs, it was so much good money. Then the burner come along. And everyone's burning shit and
sharing with their friends.
No
Friends was the same in the States. We would sell tons and tons of No Friends videos.
Yeah.
And then the DVD is a dinosaur. It's extinct completely. We sell, I mean, we don't sell videos. Nobody makes them anymore. It's all online. So, the internet has both been a boon and a bane to the sport in different ways. I feel like, at least in the States, and you tell me if it's the same in Australia, but in the States, there's plenty of recreational bodyboarders. A lot of people still doing it. But the pro thing and competition has basically disappeared over there.
I also felt in Australia, which was really, really interesting, was there was an era where the guys just went on a pilgrimage. And they went and found some incredible waves.
Slabby,
they went to
crazy.
Western Australia, and they went and they found all these incredible waves, and they were just enjoying bodyboarding.
Yeah.
And they were tearing the bag and charging.
Yes.
And I was just like, that to me was the essence of our sport.
Right.
And I think that's our sport now.
Yes.
If you want to bodyboard, and you want to do the crazy stuff, like, if you're young and those things, there's so many incredible ways.
Yeah.
Like from Tasmania to Western Australia, and guys, can get in full drives and just go on that mission. And there's a little of an escape here, but I don't know. Where do you think the wave pool thing's going?
I've done many podcasts about this. We do wave pool trips. We started doing them in 2020. I'm a huge fan of them for a bunch of reasons. Now, I realize there's haters that think it takes away from the purity and the experience and the soul surf part of things. And I'll agree that it does take some element of that out of it. But here's where it's a plus. There's a lot of people in the water. We all know that, especially since COVID. And wave pools basically eliminate the problem of people not being able to get waves because of the crowds. That's one problem that's solved. Number two, a lot of beginners are intimidated by trying to paddle out, especially at a beach break where there's constant waves bashing them. In a wave pool, it's very measured. There's breaks in between the sets. It's predictable. Makes it easy, takes away those elements.
And it's early stages of them too.
Yeah,
I think they've got a long way to
amazing.
go. I mean, if once we get to that point where it's like it's solid 4 foot and it's thick and it's, I'm happy with that.
Well, you've ridden urban surf, I assume.
Yeah.
How many times have you been to urban
I only
surf?
been to one. I went to the one in Sydney.
Okay.
And I just felt like this had a couple more feet on it.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
Yeah, it's just that little bit small.
Yes. But, is that the only wave pool you've ridden so far?
Yeah. Well, my friend, he had connections to
Surf Lakes,
the one up north,
Yeppoon.
Yeppoon.
Yeah.
The
Surf Lakes.
It's got the pump, and apparently the guys say they can flick that up higher. But what happens is it creates suction and ripped all the floor up.
Yeah.
And just as I was about to go, the floor was ripped up and it got all dirty,
shut it down.
and they had to shut it. They had to shut it down. But that's why it's still, I think it's murky and dirty. But if they can get that thing wide, what I like about that one is it's circular.
Yeah.
So if it's windy this way, it's offshore over there. It's
Good point.
Yeah. So you're always going to find a spot that's going to be offshore.
Yeah.
As some of these ones, I think, they get a side shore across like this.
Yeah, it can affect the wave. I mean, we go to Surf Ranch every year, and we've had times when the wind was blowing in such a way that one direction was crumbly, the other was like stiff offshore barely. So it definitely does affect the waves and the orientation of the wave pool. If they're able to do that, they actually do factor that in. They try to face the wave into the prevailing wind,
Yeah.
the usual prevailing wind. We all know the winds change all the time,
yeah.
but yeah, that is a thought process that goes into the building of any wave pool and how it's oriented.
Yeah.
But of course, you're limited by the parcel of land that you have to build that wave pool. So there's a lot of considerations, but it is booming, man. In the U.S., we have, I can't even, I'd have to sit here and count through them, but I mean, we have a wave garden, we have a perfect swell pool, we have a surf lock pool.
Right.
There's an endless wave pool going in Florida right now that'll be open soon. There's a surf lakes that's being built in Austin, Texas.
Right.
And then, of course, the Surf Ranch Tech, which is Kelly Slater's technology. There's one in California, and there's another
a few
one being
inland there
built
too,
in Austin.
well. Yeah.
One in Austin, Texas, that'll open soon. So there's, it's burgeoning, and there is a market for it, for sure. And we see it. I mean, we sell out our wave pool trips because of that reason. It's mostly older guys that are tired of grommets paddling circles around them out in the water, and they want to go on a surf trip, but they maybe have 2 or 3 days. They don't have 10 days or 12 days to fly to Indo, and I just want guaranteed waves, and I only got 2 days, and that's where that niche fits. It's not for everyone. I understand that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. This is all about you, Barney. So, but it's a good topic.
Yeah.
But so you got out of being a pro bodyboarder. You were a sales rep for, I assume, World
Long
Bodyboards.
time. I still am.
Yeah. So you still do.
So we went through so many chops and changes and stuff, and we feel like, and so I'm selling like soft boards. We're selling like a lot of price point bodyboards.
Yep.
And the market in the top end stuff, like I said, it's come more exclusive. And it's really nice to have bodyboard shops. We do have some and there's some really nice guys doing
Bodyboard King,
Bodyboard King, and all those sort of guys.
Yeah.
So and those guys are selling a lot of boards.
Yeah. And
So
the vintage market is where we're really doing well. A lot of older guys, we call them board-agains. They're old guys that stopped for 15, 20 years, and they're back into it now because either now their kids want to do it, and they're going to go back to it, or they're getting out of shape, they want to get back in shape. Is the vintage market, we'll call it the vintage, bodyboard collectors influenced thing, is that a big thing here? Is a lot of older guys into
there
the
is
sport?
There is a lot of guys that are into that and collecting. Because you've got the multimedia, you can create, there's a different type of community now. These things can create communities, and you can reach out to a lot of people or different areas. So it's like, even in traveling, I think like Eppo, when he went over to Europe, he was just bang, that just took care of him. He wasn't expecting any of that. You know? So it's really, really nice. There's this community in bodyboarding where bodyboarders, I ran into a bunch of guys, and they're over here in Australia, and they're painters, but they're from Chile.
Yeah.
And they're lovely guys.
They remember you from the old days.
I just talked to them about bodyboarding and stuff like that. But there's just this community where we start talking about waves, and it's great.
I know. I love it.
I think bodyboarding still, we've got this like a big family.
It is a family.
It's just sort of growing, and it's a little bit. We're not as I don't think we're as edgy and competitive and serious. It's more about we're just enjoying what we like doing.
Right.
And it's really good fun.
It's almost full circle, like you mentioned earlier. A lot of these young guys, Louis Finnegan and Shane Ackerman and all them, doing their thing out of the limelight, so to speak. It's come back to that, like where we just do it because we love it. It's not for the to get in the magazine or to get paid. We just dig it, and that's how many years you've been doing this.
Well,
for me, it's 46 years.
It's kind of like it's coming up now. It says, how much more tube time can I rack up? How much more do I need?
No, until you're 6 feet under.
Yeah. So I still enjoy it.
Yes.
And I love doing it. And I've always been bagged on stand up and all that sort of stuff. And I just they come back to that.
You still hear that?
Have I had? It's like, oh man, I just love getting barrels.
Well, what's your favorite spot here on the Gold Coast?
they all have their moments. The saddest thing I'd say about the Gold Coast here, they pumped too much sand and it ruined a lot of the breaks.
Because you were around during that absolute heyday of Kira.
Yeah.
And there's many videos and photos
and
of you getting pitted off your head out there.
Well, the funny thing
not like
I
it
would
used to
say, there was a lot of the time through the 90s
Yeah.
when we were just getting ridiculous, like even down south and all the barrels that we weren't shooting. We were just getting barreled.
Yeah.
We were just like hours and hours of it. So there's I can think of a lot of the moments of this. Like one of my best mates that was down in Iluka, he's a full-on local, and we can talk how many times we're just getting barreled together.
With no one around just no cameras.
Yeah.
Just you're getting barreled.
Yeah.
Great memories. It's all in here.
I'll just try to piss off Iluka.
Well, let's talk about Kira for a minute, because it is, or was, one of the premier waves in this area.
Yeah,
It's changed so much.
Yeah.
The sand, guys on jet skis now. I mean, is it all negative changes now to the spot?
I feel with Kira, it has its moments, and it's, you can still get those really good barrels, and some of the, there's world-class surfers here too.
Yes,
don't get me wrong.
Of course.
And you just see some incredible tube riding going on.
Yeah.
But I still, when I go around, I'll look at Kira and I see where it used to be, like years ago, where it used to break. That's where you're walking on the sand. I feel like it's buried, and
so they pumped too much sand.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, I knew they need to get that good bang for the, they had years and years of the quickie pump.
Yeah.
And they need to get good sand around there, and they started putting pipes in there around D-Bar and around Froggies. Froggies was actually created another little break for bodyboarders as well.
Yeah.
Bit slabby and heavy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of fun. But yes, you get smacked out there because the concrete, it stands like concrete, it's got no give like a Waimea Shore or the soft sand you hit that. I've seen a lot of injuries there.
I bet.
So, but the funny thing was when the superbank started forming, and that was running down from, not just up at Snapper, but running down through the middle through Greenmount. Greenmount was never kind of world class. It sort of started at Big Line running down. It was world class down there.
Yep.
And then when it started, when they started pumping, and I remember one time I was out and we saw a building swell. It was really, really south. And it was quite funny. It was small up the Snapper, but when it sort of hit past Marley, it started growing. And I was fanning, and I saw fanning get a 20-second barrel, in the water, paddling up, and just and then I remember getting this wave, taking off off Greenmount and coming out of the barrel past Big Rhine. It was 3 seconds. I've never seen it this good.
Jeez.
But then it's kind of it got too much sand, and then the sand started moving down more and more. And then it started getting buried. I'm just you start watching this is over 10, 15, 20 years. And now you go down there and you just see so much sand. There's still moments down there. I still have gone down there, and you go and sit wide and try and pick some off down up from the hut, not Pizza Hut where it used to be, but further up there's a hut. Down from there, running past where Little Groin used to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, try and snag one down there.
Yeah.
But it's just so crowded now, and a lot of skis and stuff like that. But like I said, everything I get from here is a bonus.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite content.
You're content.
I'm content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw an interview with the pro surfer, I think it was maybe Corey Lopez, and he said that, somebody said, are you still on the hunt for the best barrel of your life? He's like, I've had the best barrels of my life.
Yeah.
Anything now is, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically anything now is just a bonus.
Yeah.
But I've had the best barrels you could ever imagine. And he was one of the first to surf Skeleton Bay. So,
yeah.
He was alone, just a couple guys there. So you kind of, I am at that point in my life too, where I feel man, I've had just unbelievable waves. I'm not aggressive in the water. I don't like to battle for waves, so I'll just take what comes to me and hope maybe it'll be a great wave, maybe it won't. But I'm just, I'm at that point in my life too where I'm content.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I still want to surf and get waves every day.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm not hunting the best wave of my life so much anymore. If it comes to me, great, but it's not my quest like it was 30 years ago.
The salt water's in my blood. Like,
yes.
My partner, she says, if I haven't surfed in a week, she goes, you need to get in the water.
I don't go.
You need to go and get some salt
surfing.
water. You need some vitamin C.
Yes. No, I'm the same way, and Vicky would tell you that a million times over.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now other than being a sales rep still? Are you doing other stuff to make a living, or is that it?
I'm quite content at the moment. Like still doing a little bit of my rep job. Then I'm doing the stock market. It's quite funny. The stock market's interesting, and I speak to someone the other day, and I said, like, surfers and skaters can be all right on the market because you're kind of like riding waves.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's different. So if you can sort of learn how to ride certain charts and know certain industries or certain interests that you have, you can do quite well. And all the technical and the hard stuff that all the brokers used to have, that it was all just their thing in the 80s. Now
it's available to anyone.
It's available to anyone, and I think there's so many things that's available, for everyone now. Like even it's harder for musicians to get somewhere, but musicians can like record their own thing. It's like how many incredible musicians have become famous from doing a song.
Right. Well, Justin Bieber is the first one that comes to my mind. He was a YouTuber, who had videos online of himself like busking. And somebody saw it, and now he's like, and there's a million stories like that now because of technology. It makes it possible for, like, I'm doing the Real Deal show. It's my own podcast, and I can publish it however I want, and anybody can do that, which is one of the best things.
I love
about
podcasting
technology.
too. It's real. It's like the new real journalism. To me. And I think guys like Joe Rogan and all those, and guys who are in health and nutrition, it reaches out now. It can help a lot of people or give real information. And I think information's good, especially if it's not being someone in the background, trying to endorse something.
If it's
else
unbiased,
and influence and it's unbiased. So I think podcasting and that sort of thing is a good thing.
Yeah, you can tell the true story without that outside influence.
Yeah, or they own by a program, and you've got such and such, and you've got to get the set, and you've got to get this out of a guy, and we're like.
That's right.
Well, I don't know. It's like if you had to go and interview Mike Stewart, and it's like you've got 5 minutes to interview this guy, and you've got to get his life story out.
That's right.
Yes. I'd rather like sit down and listen to a lot of podcasts, Mike Stewart, for 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
Wow.
That sounds good. I've done a podcast with Mike, and I've watched a lot with Mike. It's always interesting, or anyone who is interested in the same thing you're interested. It's always cool to see a different perspective. I love that. Okay, 2 questions for you. One, what's your favorite wave in the world? Do you have one?
Favorite wave in the world?
I know that's a tough one. The world is a big place.
Favorite wave in the world?
I know, I put you way on the spot.
I'd say for me, my local break, I'd say one of the most, it's been very kind to me. I've had so many incredible waves. It would be Stratty.
Okay. South Stratty. Because you used to go to a spot you called Needle Dicks back in the day. Back in the day.
Yeah, that's special to me too.
I went there once with you.
Yeah.
Years ago.
That's really special. Like, Coogins really special to me. It was a reef break, and when we were going out there were surfers, not bodyboarders. And it was quite funny around that time. And this is where bodyboarding was kind of a little bit unique. There were good surfers out there, but certain waves had come through, and it was a certain part of the tide, and you just go, "You going this? You're going this? You
put
want
the pressure on
like,
a little bit,
And that's what I loved, because I knew I could take this one. Because you'd have to be, a pretty good surfer to get to get into these things. And so I always sort of loved that, and
Yeah, but South Stratty is the top level and holds the highest place in your heart.
There's a bunch of places. Like,
Yeah.
there's probably about 3 spots around here that are special to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you go to South Stratty, would you paddle across the channel or take the boat?
Always. Yeah.
Ever?
We only used to take. I'd only take the boat. The boat's banned now.
Is it?
Yeah, there's no more. So a lot of guys
Really?
just take their skis or wave runners over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they've done a little, like, there's a few guys that are snorkeling in the seaway and someone, I know, drowned or something, so they put the steps down there. So it's nice to have the steps to go down and paddle across, and I'm not on that side, you still got to climb down the rocks and then paddle back that way, but it's always steps to come up, so it's kind of cool. But
so do you have any shark stories about paddling across that channel? Because you must have done it hundreds of times.
There's 2. There was a small, clean, glassy day, and I saw a tiger. It was pretty big,
Oh my God.
and he was just cruising, and he seen me, and he just stopped, and he turned, and I was like this deep, so I could easily turn around and go in. And he stopped and turned, and he kind of just looked at me, and then he just turned and kept going. But he was quite a little bit inquisitive, and I just went in. But when I went in, he was heading back towards the wall to the seaway. So I went in and I called a couple of surfers in because I knew he was going that way.
Yeah.
And I said, shark. And a few guys came in, one guy stayed out, so I don't know what happened. But I think he just went in. But one was kind of gnarly. I was paddling back after I had a long surf. I remember I scored, and I was paddling back about. There was a guy down from us, these 2 boys.
Yep.
And they were.
Hang on one sec. Hang on. Hold on. This thing for some reason went dark on me. Here, I'll take this out. Okay, there was 2 boys. Go ahead.
Yeah, and they were just down by the water, by the rocks. And the father was back a little bit, and I'm just paddling back, and I'm just coming up to the rocks. And I just got to the rocks, and he was just down. So I must have just missed this tiger. So this tiger shark was just cruising up the seaway, and he's screaming at the boys, "Get away from the water! Get back!" I'm like, "What's going on?" And I get up the thing, and I get up and look down, and I was just like, nice, sizable tiger shark just cruising. So,
oh my God!
But I've never had like one come up and bump me, or
right.
You know, I've had a couple of bunch of big schools of fish fly over me, and I don't know what's chasing them.
Yeah.
A couple of big fish hit me in the head.
Well, that's pretty good because I know you've done that paddle 100 times, right? Yeah. So
it's been over 30 years of strategy.
So your odds have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, another question for you. And that question is, let me get this plugged in. Hang on. Come on, baby.
Yeah, the points are all special to me as well.
Yeah.
I've had some, like, one of my best barrels I've actually had was Burley Point. There was a certain year it was really, really going off, and Eppa was actually living here too before he moved up the Sunshine Coast.
When he ran the shop.
And there was a particular time, it was just, I don't know, it was just barreling from the cove all the way through.
Yeah.
And it was just lining up perfect. And yeah, I remember, like, it was really funny. Eppa, I rang Eppa and I said, I think I just got one of the best barrels of my life. and he just goes, he was almost like, me too.
Really?
Like, it was at the point. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I have never surfed Burley. Do you
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
that? All the times I've been up here, so I'll have to get that on the bucket
And it's hard to
list.
get a good one at Burley because
So many good
but it was
surfers.
just one of those ones that it just wrapped and hit the side of the bank. There's guys trying to drop in, but they just couldn't get into it.
So good.
Yeah, you know those ways where you think you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And you fluke it and you go through it.
You
and
just
it's
keep coming
like,
through. Okay, the Mike Stewart coaching clinics year. That was an amazing month. I don't know how long we were on the road, but we started up here.
Yep.
On the Gold Coast. I think maybe Broad Beach might have been the first clinic.
Yeah.
And I can't remember.
And then we went down to it was Kwana. It was the
Yes.
Kwana Surf Club, and then we did one down at Coolangatta D-Bar.
Yep. And then we went to the Central Coast, New South Wales, did a couple in Sydney.
Sunshine Coast, and then
we did. We went to
Sunshine
Sunny Coast.
and then we went down to Sydney, went Wollongong, South Australia, WA.
Yeah. I remember Gunnamatta. in Melbourne. Yeah, we were all over the country doing those clinics, and I still get emails from people who were there, who are our students at the clinics, and like, oh man, I was at the Mike Stewart coaching clinics. You guys were the best. So many years ago, you know. This thing's turned off again. And you guys, you know, I learned so much. Mike Stewart was there, and you know, and I still have pictures of that, and I have such fond memories. But I remember some really dark moments too. Mainly, you know, we'll talk about. We won't name names, but some guys would go out and party every night before, and show up late. The next morning, hungover. And Tom Wilson, the guy who was basically running the whole thing, I think we took years off his life. I really think we did, because he was so stressed out, right? Yeah. Do you have some funny memories of that trip?
There's a lot of pretty cool memories. I remember having a big night. I remember like we were in Western Australia at the end of the trip, and the crazy stuff going on the dance floor and all this stuff. We all got kicked out of this nightclub. It was like Nathan Purcell, Nugget, and Adam Mack, and there was a bunch of us. Anyway, I remember, I think it was Reale, and we all got back to, we were in like one of those Taragos, I think. Yes. And Mike was driving.
Oh my God, yeah.
And we're all just loud and rowdy in the car, and this is kind of scary but funny. Yep. And Mike was just flying along, and he thought he's just going to scare the crap out of us. So he locked up, and the thing screeched. I thought we were going to roll down the street. Yeah, and it was all over for the actual tour, because we would end up in hospital. But we're all good. We're all good.
Man.
But you know, there's a lot of funny. A lot of funny moments.
That was fun. Yeah. I mean, I think we did good for the sport, and it was great that, you know, Dave Gingell was kind of like underwriting that tour, and
we had a good video too. So I think it was really good, because it's not only stoking the kids, but we'd come back up and we'd put a video on, and the kids get to ask us questions. Yeah. And it was just like a kind of thing, it was like a family kind of thing as well. And the surf clubs were good, or the local surf, and that was back at the time when the local surf shops were cool. You know, the surf shops, you know, there's a bodyboard section, and that, you know, and there used to be good bodyboards. Right. And that's it. There wasn't crap ones. Yeah. And Charlie started the video things, and there was like some good bodyboarding going on. So they put that on, and it was guys, you know, from Ireland, all around Australia, there's some Hawaiian stuff. Yeah. And kids are going, wow, this is cool. Yeah. You know, and it wasn't like a competition between. It was just like, we weren't like that. No. We were just like, this is bodyboarding. Yeah. This is what we do. Yeah. And the kids loved it. Yeah, bring the world's best to their local break. Yeah. I remember we went to Kyneton Rocks in South Australia, and it was like the best day of the year. Yeah. We went to Knights, I think, for a free surf before the thing that morning. So I think it was great, because the world's best were showing up at these small local breaks and showing these kids, hey, look what you can do in your home waves. Yeah. You know, such a big influence back in those days. So much fun, man. There's a funny thing too. Like I was talking to my mate the other day. He's a good surfer, and a lot of good surfers will know this. So they can quite possibly relate. And you know, guys, and this is not just shortboard guys and all riders and stuff. Like now, there's so many people surfing. It's come so commercial. There's a lot of people in the water that are quite, you know, beginner to novice level. Yeah. And in some ways it's kind of cool, because you can go out in the water, and if you feel it, and it's like pumping, it's quite heavy. Yep. There's a few more waves on offer than what you actually expect. Sure. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of bodies out there, but not many going for those good ones. The good ones, so it's kind of these sort of niches now, right? Too. And a lot of people might make, well, some of the coastlines might be getting busier and bigger, but a lot of people are retiring, or they don't, you know, they're not surfing anymore or anything like that. So sometimes it's like, I went up to surface the other day, and we got some really nice fun beaches, and there was no one out. And like there's high rises like that. I know. What I mean, I don't like telling people, because no one's surfing. Up there. Yeah. So, and you wouldn't think of going up there to look for good waves. Yeah, because you think, oh, you know, it's you know, the traffic's bad, but there's little, if you know, like little secret ways to get out, and you can still get away and find good waves and stuff like that. So I do like that.
So if you ever need a surf guide on the Gold Coast, this is your man. Barnard. I'm going to post the link to your Instagram, if that's okay, in the description, so people can kind of like follow you and maybe look at some of the old photos of you from back in the day.
Quite funny, because I've got into cooking, and I love birds and all that sort of stuff. So on my page, is probably going to see more photos of like sunrises and sunsets and birds.
That's okay, man.
Yeah. I put the odd bodyboarding one up and stuff like that. Yeah.
By the way, birds. I've noticed these turkeys in the bushes behind us. You can't see them on the camera.
Oh,
but
scrub turkeys.
Scrub turkeys. Really? Do people eat those? Or are they protected?
They're protected.
Yeah.
I don't know if the indigenous people do. In
'cause
some of the remote areas, but I don't think so.
Because in the U.S., man, turkey is a thing.
Oh, yeah,
People
yeah,
love turkey,
yeah,
but the big ones, I don't know. These ones are kind of small.
Yeah.
Anyway, so interesting here.
They've got their traditional indigenous colors. So
yeah, they're pretty
them.
neat,
Yeah.
pretty beautiful. So I shot a clip on my phone yesterday of one. I was like, what is a turkey doing walking around the headland at Point Danger? We were up there this morning, actually. So, yeah, pretty
You only
cool.
saw one?
Well, I saw one, and then I saw a bunch more after that. I was like, oh, these
they're
things are everywhere.
they're actually doing quite well.
Yeah.
They're producing in numbers everywhere.
Wow.
I think it's because there's less. Who used to eat them? I think the goannas used to eat them. There's less goannas.
Oh, okay.
I'm not too sure. Someone could correct me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of goannas, so I'll have to see if there's a little, goanna versus turkey battle going on in these little scrublands here. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Do you, anyone you want to thank over the years that's helped you, supported you in your bodyboarding journey? Anyone you want to say hi to? This is your chance. We're at about an hour.
I just think the whole community.
Yeah.
And most people I meet on the water, the bodyboarder, they're all just nice people.
Genuine.
I never come across too many assholes that bodyboard. So kind of like that.
Yep.
And I don't know if the bodyboarding community continues having that sort of consciousness. That's
Sport's got a good future.
That's good. Yeah.
And the board agains will keep it going.
Yeah. I love it.
We never stopped, but
yeah.
there's a lot of board agains.
Yeah.
Well, Barney, thank you, dude. I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
appreciate the
likewise.
time. I mean, it's been a long time since we caught up.
I've never
Hopefully it
done
won't
one
be
of these,
long.
so I'm
Yeah?
a little bit rusty at this stuff. But
Hey, man, you did great. We're just telling stories, of the old days, and that's really what it's about.
I think one of the best things that I had is my timing coming. I've met so many good people and friends.
Yeah.
And we're still, like, we run into each other, we hit each other, like, it's just nice.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like I saw you 2 weeks ago. And we caught up after a long time, and hopefully it won't be 15 years till we see each other again. But it just
seems like yesterday.
I know, it really does, man. And I love that you're still doing it, man.
Yeah.
And so am I. So that's what this sport does for you. It gives you that longevity and keeps you healthy, into your later years. So get out there on your bodyboards, kids.
Cheers, peace.
So thanks to Barney. Thanks for watching the Real Deal Show. If you like this, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and check out Barney's Instagram and all the history of Paul, Barney, Barnard, and thanks for...
I've actually got a lot of old analog photos that should have put up. I might have to start putting a few more up.
You got to send a couple to me so I
will.
I can post them to kind of promote this too.
Yeah, I will.
So thanks, Barney.
All right, cheers,
appreciate it, brother. Folks, we'll see you in the surf.